Hajimemashite. He weaves through cedar and maple. The forest floor welcomes his tread. I can tell you, my friends, this journeyman devoured mountains like bowls of rice. Although he had spent his whole life exploring forests and valleys such as these, and thought he knew all there was to know of such places, this day his heart disquiet. Green apricot to crimson. Blushing petals rain upon his pack. Anticipation blooms as the way ahead clears in a bittersweet shimmer. Of course, as in all such places, a magnificent maiden awaits. She smells like soft rainfall and hot nights. Gasping, the traveler fights to regain each stolen breath. Struggling, he manages to utter. Arouse my eyes, for surely I was born blind and have not known perfection until this day. Electrify me, for my body is numb, my tongue asleep, my senses begging to awaken. Incarcerate me. To not have known you is a crime, and I should know you forevermore from this day forth. My life has been a desert, and you are the first drop of rain. Through the silence, she smiles. Hajimemashite. Welcome. I have been waiting for you.
Japan is one of those destinations that I find absolutely jaw-dropping. You saw some images there. A lot of those places we do visit on our tours as well. And it's just one of those countries I find with this incredible fusion. You've got this ultra-modern, almost futuristic city of Tokyo, which, is really forging the path when it comes to the ultra bizarre, when it comes to things like their robot restaurants and stuff like that. But it's also fused with this incredible history as well. And Japan, for me, is a great fusion of a lot of things. It's the food, it's the culture, it's the history, but it's also that incredible progressive modern way of life that the Japanese have today. Now, has anyone been to Japan? Oh, excellent. Are you going again? Fantastic. Look, if you've been once, if you've been 3 times, you can go back to these destinations time and time again. They are absolutely amazing. We've got 3 itineraries to talk about. So we're going to talk about these 2 first, our Unforgettable Japan and our Cherry Blossoms of Japan. What I am going to point out, though, you'll notice there's some similarities. They all have a route that starts in Tokyo or ends in Tokyo and does this incredible route up to the country, down to Kyoto, finishing in Osaka. That's called the Golden Route. It's a classic tourist route. The Golden Route of olden days, and we'll get to it in a moment, used to be the old trading route. It was during the Edo period. They used to take goods and merchandise from Tokyo to Osaka. And it used to follow the coastline. They called it the Golden Route. Today, the modern Golden Route just takes you through the most spectacular things to see in Japan. And regardless of which 3 of these itineraries that you're going to go on, you are going to do that Golden Route. And you'll notice with the first one, Inspiring Japan, there is a point of difference where you get right down to the south as well. So what makes these all similar? as I said, Golden Route is really where a lot of that history resides. So you're going to begin in Tokyo. As I said, it is that incredible, chaotic city, 21 million people, one of the largest cities in the world. And it is just this fusion of history and obviously the ultra-modern as well. As you leave Tokyo, you're going to go south. You're going to head down to Mount Fuji. Now, all of our trips go to Mount Fuji, and you're actually going to go to one of the lookout stations. So 5th station is the one that we go to, and hopefully, fingers crossed and God's willing, you're going to get a view of Mount Fuji that looks like that, uninterrupted by cloud cover. So it is spectacular nonetheless. After we leave Mount Fuji, we're going to head inland. We're going to head up through the Japanese Alps region. And our first stop on the way is going to be Matsumoto. Now, Matsumoto is home to one of the most 3 iconic feudal castles of Japan. So this is from that incredible time in Japan where shoguns ruled. They built these amazing castles, and obviously this is where they would have had their fortifications to fend off their enemies. The shogun would sit right at the top, but you can actually go into these castles today. So you start at the bottom and you make your way up the different levels of the castle. It's beautifully preserved. It's called the Crow Castle because it is black, obviously in colour, but it is surrounded by these amazing gardens as well. And it is one of 3 national treasures in Japan for the castles as well. So a great place to visit. The next one, I think. Yes, excellent, there we go. Takayama. We're going to head inland a little bit from Matsumoto, and Takayama is one of the highlights of the Golden Route. This is where you're going to see these incredible, I guess what everyone thinks Japanese houses look like. This is what they looked like back in the Edo period. It's beautifully preserved. The old wooden houses with those fantastic paper doorways internally as well. It is one of the best preserved old towns in Japan. We're going to spend a couple of nights there in some of the itineraries, 1 night or 2, and you get to have this amazing experience in the old part of town where you can feel like you've stepped back in time, essentially, and gone back into that amazing Edo period, which is so revered in Japan. We're going to continue to the coast now. We're on the west side. Kanazawa. Kanazawa is our next stop. Now, Kanazawa is a city, very, very pleasant. But what is amazing about Kanazawa is this Kenroku Gardens. So Kenroku Gardens, it is considered to be the #1 Japanese garden in Japan. It's almost like an artwork. They manicure these things down to the leaf. They've got little scissors and they're pretty much out there shaping everything, by hand, essentially. And it is considered to be the best garden in Japan. It's like visiting an art gallery, essentially. Going through, it's a Zen garden, and you get to see those amazing colorations of obviously the plant life as well. Now, for me, this is what Japan's all about. It's Kyoto. Now, Kyoto is considered the jewel in Japan's crown. The reason why, it was essentially spared bombing during the war. So Kyoto, the Allies never bombed it. They considered it to be too rich in cultural heritage. And so they actually spared significant carpet bombing. So Kyoto is pretty much as it was back when some of these amazing structures were it was the main capital of Japan at the time. So Kyoto houses some of the most densely populated amounts of temples. Around 1,000 different shrines and temples encompass Kyoto. And you're going to go to probably the most iconic, the Golden Pavilion. Now, if you are looking for any retirement ideas, this guy got it right. So this was a shogun. This was his retirement villa. He covered the top 2 floors in pure gold leaf. So it is actually gold encompassing those top 2 floors. The idea behind it was he was kind of considered divine. He would sit at the top and he would be bathed in this golden light as he was sitting in his retirement villa. It is an amazing place to see. It's got an incredible garden. You walk all the way around. So you've got a path that goes all the way around. You can't go in, unfortunately. It's not very big anyway. It's just more spectacular to get those images. And it does genuinely look like that in the sun. This is the one I love, Fushimi Inari. So Fushimi Inari is a Shinto shrine. Shinto religion is the main religion in Japan. And Fushimi Inari is this incredible hillside. It's got, I believe it's about 2,000 torii gates. Each one of these is an individual torii gate. You can see lining the pathway there. And it makes its way up this hill. You head up, it's a very, very spiritual place. There's incense burning all around you. There's people there, obviously, offering up their prayers. And it is a fantastic place to go and visit. Now, hot tip, if you want this photo, there's 1 million people when you're there. Usually you're kind of making your way up with a bunch of other people. There's 2 paths. One goes up, one comes down. They both look like this. jump to the one that comes down and take the photo, because there's fewer people coming down, there's more people going up for some reason. Don't know where they go, they must just stay at the top. But I was able to snap that photo with nobody in it. And so if you want it, jump over to the downwards path and quickly take a photo before you go up. Now, Hiroshima, obviously famous for all the wrong reasons. It is an incredible place to go. It's really, really moving. It's kind of eerie, I guess, when you're presented with images like this. This is the bomb dome. Was one of the last remaining structures, obviously, after the atomic bomb was dropped. The city has pretty much just been reborn. Fantastic vibe, very, very peaceful place to visit, and obviously a very, very important place for people to go, pay their respects at the Peace Park, which is obviously dedicated to the people that lost their lives. But again, a fascinating place to visit, and purely for the fact that the entire place has been rebuilt, but nonetheless very, very special. Oh, there we go. Now, this is where they diverge a little bit. So we have started here. We've made our way down to Mount Fuji, Matsumoto, Kanazawa, Takayama's in the middle there. You head down to Osaka in this case, in Kyoto, and this part is where our inspiring Japan trip does differ to the other two itineraries. So this is going to take you to some amazing places. Now, very, very few people head down this route. This is Shikoku Island, where Takamatsu is. Shikoku is considered the wild island. It's the less developed island of Japan, and it's considered for it's revered for its natural beauty. So it's lots of mountains, lots of fauna, lots of flora, and it's an incredible place to go away from some of the hustle and bustle of the big cities of Japan. Fewer people live on this island, and so it makes it a really special place to get away from those big cities and off the tourist trail. We're going to do about here. The Straits of Naruto actually go on a boat here. They take you out, and it's where some of the biggest whirlpools in the world, when the tide changes, it's kind of forced through these gaps, and it creates these amazing whirlpools. Obviously, it's not big enough to take the boat down, luckily, but you're going to get up really close to some of these incredible whirlpools as the tide changes, as you go across. Beppu. This is Beppu. So Beppu we're now down really on the southern island of Japan, just about made our way to Nagasaki. Beppu is really, really interesting. So Beppu is essentially built on a lot of geological activity. It is famous for its onsen, so that really, I guess it's almost spiritual. It's a cleansing form of bathing that is so ingrained in the Japanese culture. And it is famous because it sits on all of this thermal activity. So you go to the Hells of Beppu, and it is this park where you get these incredible pools which range anywhere from 100 to 500 degrees, depending on which one you're looking at. You do not swim in these ones, they're not onsens, just word of warning, but you're presented with these amazing colours. One's obviously turquoise blue, one is like deep red, they call it the blood pool, and it is literally a deep red in colour. So fascinating place to visit nonetheless.
Red, is that because someone went in swimming? Is that why it's red?
Yeah, could have been a shogun that went in there by accident. Nagasaki. So second city, obviously famous for all the wrong reasons, similar to Hiroshima. This one goes to both. So for those people, obviously, that are very, very interested in seeing that history, we get to go to both Hiroshima and Nagasaki on this tour. And this is the one that goes the furthest south before you start heading back. Now, what is included? So with these particular ones, like all your sightseeing's included. There's really no extra sightseeing to add on. We've got a couple of optional tours, but they really are just optional. They're things like a Kobe beef dinner. There's a green tea ceremony in there. If you didn't do any of them, you wouldn't be disappointed. You're still going to go to all the incredible castles, all the incredible shrines. You're going to go to Hiroshima, you're going to go to the Memorial Park. All of that main stuff is included in the package as it is. The optional tours are really just there to enhance your experience. So for a lot of people, they might do all of them. For some people, they do none of them. But if you came back and didn't do any, you're going to see everything you wanted to see in Japan. It's fully escorted. Great point. So the guide will meet you on day one, and the same guide will drop you off at the end of the tour. So you've always got that fully English-speaking guide with you throughout. It's the same guide throughout the entire tour. Accommodation. Accommodation's 3 to 4 star, well located. You can get double or twin. My advice, even for couples, twin share accommodation I think is more comfortable. So it is just a Japanese trait The beds are slightly smaller. They're kind of like our old double beds. So before Queens and Kings came along, it's like the double beds. My preference is to take the twins because you get a full single bed, even though you're not together. It's just more spacious and more comfortable in my opinion. So that's just a hot tip. You don't have to. A lot of people still opt to take the doubles, but just keep in mind they are similar to our older style double beds. The coach. So the coach is going to be with you from start to finish as well. Obviously got a dedicated driver who's going to accompany your guide. I think it's the next point, yes. But they all include, which is really cool, the bullet train experience. So it ranges from anywhere from 45 minutes to about an hour, depending on which itinerary you pick. Tickets are included as part of your package, and it's going to give you that experience of going 300 kilometres an hour on the bullet train. Breakfast daily, and generally a featured dinner. So with these particular trips, breakfast daily is included at the hotel. Lunch and dinner is at your own arrangements. They always stop at places for lunch where there's multiple selections. And dinner's great. You've got your guide. Your guide can help make recommendations. They accompany people out to dinner in most cases as well, and they'll take you to some local places to eat. This is the fun part. So 3 different trips. You can see them at the top there. There's different prices associated to each. So Inspire in Japan starts at $4,499. Same for Unforgettable Japan. And the Cherry Blossom one, even though it's shorter, slightly more expensive, that's because it goes in that peak cherry blossom period. Really, really popular time to go. I mean, it is fascinating. You get to see incredible pictures like this where you've got those blooming trees. And so it is a slightly higher price at that peak time, but nonetheless great value. What I love about this though, for tonight, the offer, and for the next few days, it's only $299 per person to add on your return flight. So flight from Melbourne, $299 per person into Japan and back to Melbourne again. That will be a full service airline, so you'll have your luggage included, your meals on the plane included, and in most cases it will be someone like Singapore Airlines, Cathay Pacific, JAL, or ANA, which is All Nippon Airways is the other one. So
that be Melbourne, Tokyo?
It won't be guaranteed to be direct. Generally speaking, it's one stop. So Melbourne, if it's Singapore Airlines, Melbourne, Singapore, Singapore, Tokyo. If it is Japan Airlines and you do want to do a direct flight, you can make a request. We'll just give you a quote as to what the difference in price is. Yeah. Now, departures. September this year, all the way through to November. So Cherry Blossoms is available for all 3 tours. You've got your autumn period, which I don't have a picture of. I personally think it's one of the best times to go. Cherry Blossoms is the iconic time to go. Everyone wants to go. All of Japan is off at that time, I should point out. It's a huge public holiday in Japan. It's almost like as big as their New Year's. So it's a really busy time to go, but nonetheless, it is fascinating. Autumn, which starts at the end of October and November, is where you get to see all the maple leaves starting to change their colours. I think it's an amazing time to go. It's starting to get cooler, so it's probably going to be down to in the low 20s throughout the day. I like that because it makes going out to temples and shrines just more comfortable. So anyway, that's just my personal opinion. The lead-in prices tend to be in the middle of the year, so around sort of June, July, August period. You'll have some small surcharges if you want to go in those peak periods as well, but Jen can help you with those.
And there would be periods that you would recommend not to go?
I went in July. It's hot. If you like hot weather, it's perfect for you, but it's quite hot. It's 36 degrees in most cases, and it's a bit humid. So it's quite tropical, which you don't really associate Japan with, but especially if you go down to Nagasaki, you're starting to get quite close to the equator. And so it is more humid. I really enjoyed it. It just means when you're out at the temples, it's nice to get back to the hotel and just relax for a little while. Yeah. In saying that, I went in February and March as well, and it's just pleasant. Like, it's beautiful temperature, 25 degrees, 20 degrees. You can walk around. You're not getting too hot. And it is just a nice time to go to Japan. Now, for those people that want to go for like the full thing, we've been trapped for 3 years now. We might as well go and see something. Grand Japan is the next step up. So from here across, it's exactly the same as the Unforgettable trip that we just ran through. So you're still going to get to do the Golden Route. You still get to go to Hiroshima. It's still got the bullet train included. What is different is this northern part here. So this one actually begins right up north in the island of Hokkaido. you're going to go and fly into Sapporo in this case. So Sapporo is the capital of the north, and essentially going to make your way down the coast and finish in Tokyo, that part, before joining everybody else that's doing the unforgettable trip in Tokyo and continue into the west. Now, I will point out with this one, so from Tokyo to Hiroshima, finishing in Osaka for, I think that is 16 days, that's fully guided. You've got your guide with you for the entire time. The part in the north is self-guided. Now, it sounds daunting. I can rest assure you it couldn't be easier. Japan's actually very, very easy to navigate. All of the street signs, all of the train stations, most of the tourist attractions are all in Japanese and English. So you can find your way around very, very easily. All of the train stations have what they call JR or Japan Rail representatives. They all speak English as well. So very, very easy to navigate. What we've done with this one is we've included a 7-day Japan Rail pass. So it gives you unlimited travel on the bullet train network for 7 days. And all of these trips here, Sapporo, Hakodate, Sendai, down to Tokyo, are all via bullet train. So great way to travel. I've done this myself. And really recommend the trains are the best way to get around Japan. All your hotels, to make it even easier, are literally a stone's throw from the train station. So you arrive into Hakodate as an example, it's a walking distance to your hotel. Now, what do you see? So we're in the north, so we've started in Sapporo. I loved Otaru. It's just north of Sapporo. There's an included full day tour. So this is guided. They're going to pick you up at your hotel in Sapporo. They're going to take you out on a full day tour up to Otaru. Otaru used to be like an ancient port. So Japan went through this isolation period. It was closed to the outside world. They didn't have any foreign representatives coming into Japan. And so that's what's made it so unique, in my opinion. That's how their culture's kind of fostered the way it has. When they first opened, Otaru was one of the first ports that outsiders actually entered. And it used to be a really big trading port. Now what's left is you've got this incredible canal. It's like a UNESCO World Heritage area. You've got these amazing merchant buildings that kind of line it, which were the old port buildings where people used to bring their wares. And then kind of what's behind here is these incredible sort of very, very typical market streets of Japan where locals would go, and a great place just to walk around. It's quite a small city, I'm going to say town. It's still a city. Most of the places in Japan are cities, but it's small in Japanese scale. So you can walk around this whole area with absolute ease. Now, it's famous for 3 things. It's famous for sake. Some of the best sake in the world is made here. It's famous for glasswares, so blown glass art, essentially. Some of the best glasswares are made here as well. And the third one is music boxes, which sounds a bit bizarre, but they used to make these music boxes for some of the old royalty in Japan in the past. And they're incredibly ornate. So I bought one for my daughter. If you've got grandchildren, if you've got a favourite niece, highly recommend buying a music box. They are absolutely divine, and it is famous. So it's a bit of a hot tip, and you'll find them throughout Otaru. You're going to head down to Hakodate. I loved Hakodate. I thought it was awesome. It was the first place that was open after the isolation period. So this is where people started to come to reside. And what's different about it is you've got this area of the town where the merchants from Europe, the merchants from the US or North America, merchants from other part of the world actually settled. And it gives you this real contrast. It's actually a piece of Europe inside Japan. You see these different buildings, different architecture, and this whole area that was dedicated to international merchants at the time. So a cool place. What I really liked about it is it's known for its seafood. So it's probably got some of the best seafood in Japan. That's what Japan's revered for. And what is really cool about these markets is you can go to the fish market and see all of these. This is one of my photos. Sorry, it's a bit blurry. All of these are little pieces that you can buy. They cost about 50 yen, which is about 50 cents. And so you can actually go around, they give you a little bowl of rice and you just pick the fresh seafood up off the shelf and put it into your bowl, pay the merchant, and you've got some of the best sashimi that you'll ever taste in your life. So a great place to go. I don't recommend buying fruit. Sounds weird. Fruit in Japan, I guess, we all go to the shops, we kind of pick stuff up and we go, that one looks okay, that one looks okay, that one doesn't look any good. Their fruit comes immaculately packed. You get one, in most cases, one peach, or you get one cantaloupe or rock melon, depending what you call it. And the rock melons are incredible. They cost anywhere up to $200 per rock melon, but they've actually been grown on little pillows. They grow them, they put a pillow under them so they don't blemish underneath. A little man comes out with white gloves to handle them when he's growing them, turns them every so often so they don't get bad spots on them. But they're literally babied, essentially, to the market, and they're highly revered. When you go, you'll see fruit everywhere. It's not always $200, but a peach might be $10, as an example. It's one peach, but it's exquisite. So that's where all the good fruit goes. Obviously goes to Japan. We just get the leftovers, but it looks amazing. It's almost art in itself. Now, as I said, you're still going to get to do the golden route. You still get to go to Hiroshima. So this is all the unforgettable itinerary. Something that you do on the unforgettable itinerary that we didn't touch on before is you go to Himeji. Look, it is another castle. It's probably the best one. Again, this was spared during the war. What they actually did, it's a huge complex. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably 5-10 acres or something like that. It's massive. Massive garden around it. Really good in cherry blossoms, by the way. So if you are going to go in cherry blossom period, this is one of the best places to see them. It's famous for it. You can do canal rides on this area here, and the cherry blossoms are kind of all going over the canal. But during the war, they covered the entire thing in black fabric, so you couldn't see it from the sky when the Allied planes were going over top. And so at night time, when they were doing their bombing runs, this just looked like a blank piece of land. And so it was actually spared. So it is in its original state. There's been some fires over time and whatnot, but it's incredibly preserved. And again, you can go right to the top, and it's got this amazing fortification on its way in through different gates and different doors. Now this one, as I said, so where are we? There we go. Oh, sorry. So it's partially escorted. So what that means, as I said, from Sapporo to Tokyo, you are going to be on your own. We've done all the hard work. You've got day tours in each of the different cities. You've got your accommodation. You've got your rail pass booked as well. All you've got to do is get from the hotel to the train station and board the train. Really, really simple. Hotels are all, as I said, walking distance to the train station, so no need to worry about that. Once you get to Tokyo, that's where you join the guided part of the tour, and the rest of the itinerary all the way to Hiroshima is guided. 21 nights accommodation, 3 to 4 star again, exactly the same concept. Again, highly recommend twin share. Dedicated coach from Tokyo to Hiroshima back to Osaka, and then train journeys from the north. Way more train experience. If you're really into trains, and I do enjoy the Japanese train system because it works flawlessly, is this one gives you obviously 7 days where you are on and off the bullet trains in different matters. And what's interesting about the train network in Japan, you know, sometimes here they'll say, oh, your train's been delayed, it's going to be 10 minutes late. A delay in Japan is 30 seconds. So it works. If it says it's going to go at 7:32, it's going at 7:32. So you need to be there. But the good thing is there's usually another one along in about 15 minutes time anyway. Oh. And breakfast. So yeah, breakfast daily the whole way throughout this itinerary. So all 22 breakfasts in this case. And you've got that feature dinner in there as well. Now this one's got the same offer, if I can go to it. So slightly different flights. So from Melbourne, flying to Sapporo, and then out of Osaka in this case. So we'll take care of that part for you. Only $299 to add your flights on. Same scenario as before. So generally there's one stop. It's, in most cases, because you go into Sapporo, it's going to be via Singapore, or it will be via Tokyo. So on Japan Airlines, you'll stop in Tokyo, board another flight. They'll fly you up to Sapporo with Japan Airlines as well. So that will be all included for you. $6,499 per person. So slightly more expensive, but in my opinion, it's a full rounded experience of Japan. Same departures, slightly earlier this year, right through to October next year. Cherry blossoms available as well, autumn's available as well, and so similar travel period.
I really don't know how to explain it. It was an absolute dream moment for me. It was the most amazing holiday we've ever had.
The inclusions probably was one of the primary deciding factors for us.
The wildlife there was incredible, and it's something that you don't really expect to see.
Customer service team, I found at Inspiring Vacations second to none. They are warm, welcoming, accommodating, and understand what I want out of travel.
Well, it's always nice to talk about our own country, and I think over the past few years, we've really had a really big focus, for obvious reasons, on Australia as a destination, and I think it's just wonderful to be able to speak about our destination, about our country again, and exploring that. So what we are going to do here for you now is to have a bit of a conversation around the Northern Territory and, of course, the iconic Ghan that travels right through the centre of Australia, taking in some incredible landscapes. We have, you're right. We have the absolute pleasure of having some pre-recorded presentations from some of our partners, including Journey Beyond, who looks after the Ghan, of course, and AAT Kings, who we partner with in the Northern Territory as well for the day tours. So we'll get started there.
So our northbound experience takes you on a journey like any other. It's a 3-day, 2-night experience aboard the Ghan. We approximately depart at lunchtime. As you settle into your cabin crew attendant will show you everything that opens and shuts, where your light fittings are, the radio, how the bathroom, everything works. But she'll take also your information as far as what off-train experiences you'd like to do, and also what time you would like to join everyone for dinner. There's a few different times for your dinner seating arrangements as well. And before long, as we start to head off, we meet some of the most oldest rock formations in the world, the Flinders Ranges, and they come into view as we leave Adelaide. Heading northbound, we arrive into a small town called Marla. Marla is an Aboriginal word that means kangaroo. Marla is 1,082 kilometres away from Adelaide and 159 kilometres just south of the Northern Territory border. With its official population, does anyone like to have a guess?
580.
Very close, but it's more like 70. So we arrive at dawn, so just as that sun is rising, it's your first look at the outback, and it's a beautiful experience right there off the train. We have bonfires going, we give you a tea or a coffee or a hot chocolate, some juices, some beautiful pastries to enjoy right there in the outback as your first experience, your first welcome to the outback area off train, just on the side of the train. So really a one-off experience, one of a kind. We get back on board for brunch and we make our way again through the McDonald Ranges, where we head into Alice Springs. Here you've got a choice choice of your off-train experiences, and these are all for you to choose. Anything like the Alice Explorer, where you'll visit iconic sites like the Royal Flying Doctor Service, you'll see the Animal Reptile Park, you'll also go into the Wilderness Centre to see lots of flora and fauna, and the one that I love is the Telegraph Station, where you'll learn about the early European settlement as well. Then you can choose the Alice Springs Desert Park, which has over 200 desert plants and over 400 desert species as well, animal species. Then there's a choice of the Simpson Gap Discovery Walk as well. There are lots of optional upgrades where you can book as well. So things like a fixed scenic wing flight around the wonders of the Central Australia. It's a 90-minute scenic flight. Or you can choose camel rides and experience what it was like back in the day for the Afghans. Or you could take a beautiful helicopter ride around Mount Gillian as well. We're on board and away we go, and we're arriving into Katherine. And here in Katherine you have some 3 of optional off-train experiences that you can choose from. So the first one is an outback experience called the Katherine Outback, and here you'll meet Tom Curtin. And Tom Curtin is a Golden Guitar winner, so he loves a sing-along, of course, but he introduces you to his station where he rears dogs, cattle, and of course horses. He's a larrikin, he loves to share a story or two, and of course he'll get you singing along as well. There's another experience there where you could do the Nipmaluk Twin River Gorges, or you could choose one gorge, the Nipmaluk Gorge, combine that with the Rock Art Cruise as well. So lots of different experiences that really immerse you into this beautiful part of the country. Again, we have some optional upgrades as well that you can choose. These are all that you can book on board, so you don't have to decide today, but there are optionals for you. So there's a Twin Park fixed wing scenic flight that you can choose, or the Nipmaluk Gorge helicopter rides as well. As evening falls, we arrive into Darwin to complete your epic Australian journey. If you're staying longer in Darwin, why don't you consider a beautiful Darwin Harbour cruise as well? And the team at Inspiring Vacations can package all of this up together for you and book the amazing package for you in Darwin. So this is just a recap on the northbound experience for you. Of course, it's not quite that fast and a bit more relaxed. Now, I hear you all saying, well, Ines, you've told me a lot about what you do off the train. What about what it looks like on the train? I'm glad you've all asked. So here we go. This is a little video information for you about the service levels.
Journey Beyond are the proud operators of the Ghan, Indian Pacific, Great Southern and the Overland. All our journeys differ in destinations and experiences, with the same exceptional service on board. The Ghan, Indian Pacific and Great Southern journeys are all inclusive of off-train excursions, fine wines, beverages and dining. For the discerning traveller, Platinum Service adds an enhanced level of sophistication to the journey. Stylishly appointed, spacious suites with full-size ensuite. Expansive window views from both sides of the train and exclusive use of the Platinum Club carriage. By day, the cabin is configured as a private lounge with deluxe seating, a table and 2 ottomans. By night, the lounge converts to a comfortable bedroom with either a double or twin bed. Exclusive to Platinum guests, the Platinum Club offers a daytime lounge setting with adaptable dining options for either small or larger groups. The Platinum host will be available to serve drinks, cocktails and barista coffee. Our highly experienced onboard culinary teams work closely with local suppliers, farmers and providores, sourcing the finest ingredients to create innovative, regionally inspired menus accompanied by all-inclusive fine wines and beverages. The Outback Explorer Lounge is the social hub for Gold Service guests, the perfect setting to get to know fellow travellers, enjoy a beverage or a snack, and catch glimpses of the passing landscapes through the wide picture windows. Regionally inspired fine wines and dining is all included in the fare. We serve our 3-course meals in the Queen Adelaide restaurant. Gold Service twin cabins are the most popular level of service on board. The private cabin features an ensuite and a 3-seater lounge where guests can relax and watch the world go by. At night, the lounge converts to an upper and lower sleeping berth. Our Gold Service single cabins are the perfect option for a solo traveller. They feature a single-seated chair and table during the day, and at night a single bed. For guests with mobility restrictions, Gold Access cabins are available on request. For more details, please contact our travel centre, your local travel agent, or visit our website.
Just recap on that platinum gold services that we offer. So with platinum, it's like real estate. Location and size does matter, all right? So where you're located and the size of your cabin is all about the platinum. So you have a very large private facilities in your own cabin. You have transfers that are available to you. They're private transfers from any major rail station, of course. We offer morning and afternoon tea in your cabins, pre-dinner drinks in your cabins if you like. If you'd like breakfast served to you in your cabin, of course you can have that as well. And access to your own platinum lounge dining area as well with the platinum service. With the cabins and the style of accommodation and bedding, of course it's either a double or twin beds accommodation at night, and the twin bedding is side by side. During the day it is a 3-seater lounge for your comfort, of course, and at night the ferries come in and change it all up for you, so you don't need to worry about converting your seating into a bedroom. With the gold, gold is also lovely, of course. We have private twin cabins, all the singles that I showed you. With the twin, of course, it is the upper and lower berths, and you have your own private facilities. You have access to the Gold Lounge and also to the Queen Adelaide restaurant for your meal times. Just remember that everything on and off the train is all included. With your singles, of course, as mentioned, it is a single seat with single bedding. There is a hand basin for your convenience within your own cabin. In a carriage of 16 single cabins, there are 4 bathrooms for your private use, but there it is shared facilities in that category. But that's it from me.
Lovely way to see the countryside. The Ghan we have packaged up with some incredible day tours throughout the Northern Territory. And as I mentioned, we do have a presentation now from AAT Kings, which are the partner of ourselves and others, of course, for your ground sightseeing when you are in the Northern Territory. So I'm going to skip through to that.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Rebecca Carsey, and I'm so excited to chat with you tonight about our day tours that we offer in the Northern Territory. The perfect format of touring for those with limited time but wanting to capture the absolute must-dos when visiting the NT. Firstly, I would like to start off with an acknowledgement of country as an opportunity for anyone to show respect for traditional owners and the continuing connection of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples to country. The Australian outback was once but a twinkle in most travellers' eyes, but thanks to visionaries like the Pike family and Bill King, the way we explore the land down under has changed in unimaginable ways. Over the coming decades, maps were unfolded, desert cruises and coaches were customised, and guides were trained. A century's worth of exploration means AAT Kings offers unparalleled knowledge of Australia and New Zealand, its highlights, its secrets, and the people that bring them to life. We're talking about iconic, world-class attractions as well as unexpected experiences, the ones you won't find in a guidebook or online. adventures that AAT King's travel directors have accumulated over years. The local characters we meet, and you'll never forget, along the way, and the epic, goosebump-inducing stories we're told by First Nation guides. Between both the Red Centre and the Top End, we have 36 amazing half and full day experiences to cater to all needs. At the helm are our talented driver guides who bring to life many of the experiences we offer and are accredited with nationally recognised qualifications required to guide trips in some of the most sacred Indigenous lands. We know that travelling in the Northern Territory requires quite a bit of coordination given the vast landscapes. Part of our product offering are our Red Centre connections, point-to-point transfers between Alice Springs, Yalara and Kings Canyon. Travel through the outback on our fleet of luxury coaches and soak up the knowledge of our driver guides who also operate these transfers. We have many signature experiences that we could chat about, but let me take you through some of the highlights from both the Red Centre and the Top End. Let me take you to the Red Centre and Uluru. We have a vast range of touring options here that take in the iconic Uluru and all its glory. One of my absolute favourites is the Sunrise Field of Lights, where you witness the outback come to life as 50,000 globes illuminate in the desert. Included are some light snacks, and our team will serve you with some tea and coffee to enjoy as the sun starts to creep light throughout the sky, and then watch in awe as it pops up in the distance behind Uluru, flooding the landscape, including Katajuda behind you, with light. As the natural light brightens the landscape, the field of light will dim for the day. AAT Kings offers exclusive access to the sunrise viewing of the field of lights. Now, at the other end of the day, you can enjoy a spectacular sunset over Uluru before settling in for a dinner experience like no other. Just metres from Uluru, this backdrop towers over you whilst you enjoy an outback Aussie barbecue dinner, mingle with other travellers and learn of their adventures. This experience too is exclusive to AAT Kings, operating inside the national park after it has been closed to the public. This tour takes you to the inspiring red-hued sedimentary rock domes of Katajuda to watch the sunset. They are thought to have originally been one huge piece of rock, much like Uluru, that has weathered over millions of years to become an intriguing series of individual formations. As evening approaches, enjoy sparkling wine or beer along with deluxe canapes as each passing minute brings something new as the domes continue to change colour with the setting sun. So, now to the Top End. World Heritage listed and the largest national park in Australia, Kakadu is one of the most diverse landscapes you'll ever experience. You'll be amazed at the population of wildlife in the water, on the land, and in the air. See some of the most amazing terrain Australia has to offer on your way to and inside Kakadu. Marvel at the concentration of rock art sites that illustrate Aboriginal culture, some dating back 50,000 years. AAT Kings operates daily one-day trips to Kakadu during the peak season. Travelling along the Arnhem Highway, the Maracay Plains will provide a beautiful backdrop to your journey. On the Yellowwater Billabong, enjoy a local guide to spot saltwater crocodiles and colourful bird life, including sea eagles, brolgas, and tiny, brilliantly hulled kingfishers. For those seeking to take in the sights from altitude, you'll have the option of booking a scenic flight over the Kakadu escarpment. Established in 1986, Litchfield National Park is just a stunning location. You can take in the splendour of thundering waterfalls, rainforest pockets and historic sacred sites. It is a haven for hundreds of native bird species, and the plateau supports a rich range of woodland flora. The traditional custodians of the park are the Wagat people, many of whom still call the area home. Our one-day Litchfield National Park tour includes 3 visits to some of the most stunning waterfalls. Enjoy a refreshing swim at both Florence and Wangai Falls. So, thank you for your time this evening, and we look forward to welcoming you on board soon.
This one is probably one of the most popular ones that we do have to offer. And of course, we've got this on offer for you for 2023 journeys. This one includes the Ghan from Adelaide, as you would expect. It is 2 nights, is exactly as Ines has described. Now, on our itineraries with the Ghan, we include the gold service. If you would like to upgrade to platinum, we can put a request forward and, see if we can get you a cabin there. It is very, very popular, but we can put that request forward, certainly. And as you can see, once we get to the very top of Australia, we've actually included flights, sightseeing and accommodation that take in Broome through to the Bungle Bungles and of course up to Darwin as well. But let's have a quick look at what we've included there. So for the sightseeing, as mentioned, we are into Darwin, including the Yellow Water Billabong cruise. Of course, we do go down into Kakadu National Park. That is all included. And accommodation, which I'm going to get to as well, but just from a sightseeing perspective, I also mentioned that we fly over into Kununurra. When we're in Kununurra, we do include tours out to the Bungle Bungles, of course, because that is one of the reasons while you're there, but we also go out to the Ord River and Lake Argyle as well. Gorgeous pictures there. So we do spend some time there looking around before we go further on to Broome. There was 5 nights there in Broome on this itinerary, so it gives you a really good chance to settle in and to enjoy the atmosphere and the town. But included as well, we have full day tours. So this one out to the Willie Creek Pearl Farm, which is just an exceptionally stunning location to get to see the pearling while you're there. And we also go out to the very iconic and must-do horizontal falls. So inclusions on this one, it is 10 nights accommodation, and we do use 4-star hotels throughout. I mentioned 2 nights on the Ghan in the gold service. It is in the twin cabins. Again, if you would like to upgrade, we can put that request forward for platinum. Day tours as mentioned, but certainly on the information sheets that Jen gave you as you came in, there is far more detail. And you'll also find on those information flyers there, we do have a QR code. We're all used to scanning QR codes these days. You can go ahead and scan that code and it will bring up this full itinerary so you can have a very good look through those day tour experiences. We include flights on this one when you're in the north of Australia. So I mentioned we go from Darwin to Kununurra to Broome. Those internal flights are included on this itinerary. And 8 meals throughout. Majority of those, of course, being on the Ghan, as mentioned by Ines in her presentation. I am not having fun with this clicker today. There we go. So the price of this one for the entirety of the itinerary, including the Ghan experience, is just $6,999 per person twin share. And of course, we do have a special offer here tonight. The Ghan has been so kind, has been so kind as to offer us these incredible, beautiful overnight bags included for those who do wish to make their booking with Inspiring Vacations. I love the bag. It fits absolutely perfectly into the cabins as you would expect. The departures, as I mentioned, are for 2023, so plenty of time to plan ahead. Another opportunity, if you do want to do the Ghan, and you should, is a 7-day Ghan and Kakadu. So this one will, of course, include the sightseeing as described by Ines on the Ghan itinerary. But when we do, and right through Alice Springs, as she has discussed, I don't want to go over that again for you, but as we do finish up in the north, in the Northern Territory, you will have a couple of nights there in Darwin, and so that is included, and the sightseeing is included there as well. So just to go through that, this is fun tonight. 2 nights on the Ghan in the gold twin cabins, meals throughout. Let's get to the accommodation, please, little clicker. Sightseeing while you are in Darwin, including the Yellow Water Billabong Cruise and Kakadu National Park, and 4 nights accommodation. That is actually 1 night in Adelaide before starting on the Ghan, and 3 nights up in Darwin. So if you are looking for a quick 1-week getaway, but you want to do something really iconic, I actually really love this one. It is $4,299 per person, and again, the Ghan are offering that absolutely gorgeous overnight bag for you to take on board. 2023 Itineraries. If we haven't already given you enough to think about, how about this? We can actually do for you a 13-day Territory Complete and Ghan as a whole entirety. So we are doing the 2 nights of the Ghan all the way up to Darwin from Adelaide. We're actually going to hop off the train in the Red Centre and spend some time there. And gee, that is a special place. If you don't want to do the entire 13 days, we could just cut it in half for you. How about that? You could either start in Adelaide and finish in the Red Centre, or start in the Red Centre and finish up, of course, in Darwin. All incredible itineraries to choose from. Of course, we are doing more within the Red Centre on these itineraries. So previously, when we spoke about going through Alice Springs on the Ghan, there is opportunity there for off-train experiences. But on these itineraries, you're actually staying in Uluru. You are actually there for the time, and you will get to do a lot more sightseeing, not just in Alice Springs itself, but you do get time to go out to the West Macdonald Ranges. You do go to Uluru. I was there myself recently with my family, and it is just an incredible experience. Who's been to Uluru before? Isn't it amazing? It's beyond more than what I ever expected it to be. Kings Canyon Day Tour as well, with it, which is absolutely worth the time. We do still go all the way up to Darwin and do the Kakadu National Park. And the inclusions on this one, if it wants to play well, accommodation in 4-star hotels throughout. It doesn't want to play, so let's just click all the way through. I did mention the tours while you're there, of course, both in the top and in the Red Centre, and the Ghan experience, as you would expect. This one for the 30th, so if you want to do the whole lot from Adelaide, stop in the Red Centre, all the way up to the very, very north, it is 13 days from $7,999. If you wanted to cut it in half, starting, of course, in Uluru and finishing up in Darwin, or perhaps starting in Adelaide and finishing up in Uluru, you can absolutely do those starting from $5,199 or $4,499 respectively. And the Ghan, again, is more than happy to include that overnight bag and luggage labels. I don't think I mentioned that before. Oh, there's a picture of the bag. I knew that was there somewhere. It is absolutely perfect, and we thank them so much for that. Now, again, the 2023 dates are what we have available at the moment. Very, very popular. If you are considering the Ghan experience, it's worth getting in and making that booking. It's the same situation. It's a $99 deposit per person to secure that one if you wish to do so today.
I really don't know how to explain it. It was an absolute dream moment for me. It was the most amazing holiday we've ever had.
The inclusions probably was one of the primary deciding factors for us.
The wildlife there was incredible, and it's something that you don't really expect to see.
Customer service team, I found at Inspiring Vacations second to none. They are warm, welcoming, accommodating, and understand what I want out of travel.
Thank you so much for staying for the Australian section of our presentations here today. The very, very last destination that we are going to speak through is Canada and Alaska, and we have a special guest here today to speak about cruising the Alaskan coastline. And we also have a presentation from Rocky Mountaineer as well.
Dear world, I like to spend time with you. I'm not sure how you feel, but when I'm with you, my heart is unburdened. My mind is clear and bright as the summer sky. When I'm with you, it's like you know when you love someone so much that even looking at them is a kick in the chest? My breath is forcibly evacuated by your splendor. I want to know every inch of you, to amble through your wilderness, drifting to wherever your currents would take me. You're like an all-night rave, everything is happening at once. You're always in vogue. You are the original fashionista. Though we attempt to plagiarize you, each road akin to a winding canal, each building climbing skyward like a grand pine, reaching for the sun. Though our creations have their own charm, they pale compared to you, world. You are the most beautiful at the end of a long day, in the lingering quiet of twilight. I'm saying this because I worry about you. I don't want to see you hurt or lessened in any way. I wish only for my presence to elevate you. I will look upon you till the day I die.
Iconic journeys of the world on train, and we are lucky to have so many here in Australia. But one that we all know about, of course, is the Rocky Mountaineer in Canada. And on numerous itineraries, we've included the Rocky Mountaineer, and it's just such a spectacular way to see the scenery. And what I do love about this journey is that it's smooth. It takes you along some of the most incredible, rivers, and you can look down one side and see greenery and the turquoise colour of the rivers, and then you can look to the other side and you have nothing but these incredible mountain ranges. And certainly if you are sitting up in the dome carriage and you can look straight up to the peaks, it's just quite awe-inspiring. I'm very much hopeful that this video will work because Amber recorded this for us and it's just really worth seeing. So we'll fingers crossed.
So that was just a taste of some of that scenery I just talked about. So welcome on board Rocky Mountaineer. It is, as I mentioned, a truly spectacular way of traveling and seeing some areas that just is not accessible by road that you can experience through the Canadian Rockies. So Rocky Mountaineer, we're a little bit different in that we're an all daylight luxury sightseeing service. So you will be traveling during the day, and of an evening, you'll actually be sleeping in hotels. You won't be sleeping on board the train, which is a little bit different. It's something that people don't know about Rocky Mountaineer. The other thing about us is that we don't travel year round. We travel in the warmer, lighter months, so the spring, the summer, and the autumn, because the winter, it is shorter days, very, very short days up there in Canada. It's a little bit too dark, a lot of snow. So we are a luxury all daylight sightseeing service traveling through those lighter months. On board Rocky Mountaineer, there is two choices of carriage you can choose from. Silverleaf is a spectacular way of traveling, and here's a little video to give you a taste of what that experience will be like. So with Silverleaf, the difference is it's a single level carriage. So you can see there that there is still ample opportunity for spectacular views out of those very, very large windows. So you won't miss a single thing. You do enjoy your meals, and all of your both alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages are all included on board Rocky Mountaineer, and you'll enjoy those seatside. In every single carriage as well, we have storytellers and we have onboard hosts and culinary teams. So while you're along your journey, not only are you being wined and dined with beautiful foods and wines, really focused on the local area, but you'll be learning things around what we're coming up to seeing, history of the area, geographical points of view. So not only is it a beautiful luxury train experience, but it can be quite educational and lots of fun as well. So Gold Leaf is our most famous and most well-known and well-travelled option of travelling with Rocky Mountaineer. And this is, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen, those big glass ceiling domes. And it's something, as soon as I mention Rocky Mountaineer, people will say, oh, that train with the big glass ceilings. And that's exactly what the Gold Leaf service is. So I'll show you a little video just to give you a taste of what to expect on board Gold Leaf with Rocky Mountaineer. So as I mentioned, Rocky Mountaineer is actually the difference between a silver leaf and a gold leaf is that a gold leaf is a bi-level coach, which means there is 2 levels that you will enjoy while you're in this carriage. The top level that you can see there is that very, very famous gold leaf glass dome, and that's where guests will sit during the majority of their day and enjoy the beautiful scenery up there. They'll have reclining seats. They've got seat warmers in there, very, very luxurious and comfortable. And the downstairs windows that you can see in that image is actually where the restaurant is for Gold Leaf guests. So that's where you'll go down and enjoy your breakfast or your lunch. And again, beautiful food and wine, really focused on the local area and the culinary focus of where we're traveling through. You will have the other thing in Gold Leaf, which is a little bit different to the Silver Leaf, is that you have this outdoor viewing platform. And this is somewhere that I love to spend time. You can really get out there, watch the world go by. Great vantage point for wildlife spotting, really taking in those beautiful, crisp, clean air of the Canadian Rockies. One of my favorite times that I've spent out here, I was actually on board one of the last departures in 2019. And one of the crew on board, she was out there taking photos. And as I said, it was the last departure. And I said to her, you know, you've been on board here since April and it's now October. What could you possibly be taking photos of? And she said, you know, Amber, every single day you see something different, and there's something that will take my breath away, and there's something that will be more dramatic or beautiful or different that I haven't seen before. And I really loved that. So it's not only guests that travel with us just once, or people like me that have been fortunate enough to travel on board Rocky Mountaineer a few times, but our crew as well, who are on board every single day, and they're still finding something magnificent to see and something worthy of taking a photo of. So the destinations, and the Canadian Rockies absolutely is a destination in itself, and Inspiring Vacations have got some fabulous packages and tours that include Rocky Mountaineer. So the train is only 2 days and 1 night, but the beauty of booking with Inspiring Vacations is that they create some really fabulous land itineraries before and after the rail experience. So Banff, very, very well known, a ski destination, but it is equally as beautiful and stunning in the summer months. Lake Louise, one of the most photographed lakes in the world, and I think it might actually be the most photographed destination in Canada. And these turquoise waters, you just have to see to believe them, and every photo looks like it's photoshopped. And the great thing in the Canadian Rockies is that you cannot take a bad photo. And of course, Jasper, a beautiful destination that lots of Australians enjoy visiting. Now, Vancouver is our hub, and Vancouver is where all departures either start or finish. So you might be traveling from Vancouver and going eastbound into the Canadian Rockies, or you might be coming westbound and start in the Rockies and finish in Vancouver. Either way, you will spend some time in this amazing, amazing cosmopolitan city. It is fantastic for the airlift from our part of the world. And also it's fantastic to join up with cruises to go and do that Alaskan inside passage. And the international passenger terminal is right, as you can see there, smack in the middle of the city. Wildlife, of course, is something that everybody asks about, and the bear is #1 tick. If you see the bear, and you will very, very likely, you will see a bear while you're up there. But if not, there is some amazing bird life, longhorned sheep, mountain goats, elk. There is always something to see, and every day you'll see something different. And when to travel. So as I mentioned earlier, Rocky Mountaineer only travels between April and October each year. April is their spring. The animals are quite active in the springtime. All of the shoots are coming out. There's beautiful flowers. The animals are coming out of hibernation, so they're very hungry and very active. And of course, there's all the babies around in the springtime. Summer is a perfect time to be up there in the Canadian Rockies, and aligns fabulously if you're doing the Alaskan cruise I was just talking about. But then also don't forget that the end of the season can equally be as spectacular, and you might be lucky to see some snow-capped mountains, and you're really starting to see the change of the leaves and all of those amazing autumn colors. So no matter when you choose to travel up in the Canadian Rockies, there's not a bad time. Now, of course, health and safety is something that's incredibly important to everyone these days, and it's something that's been incredibly important to Rocky Mountaineer forever. The health and safety of our guests and our onboard crew is the utmost priority. And whilst we have always taken pride in the fact that we have excellent health and safety guidelines, and now during COVID-19 and the world that we live in, it's no different. The only difference is we have amplified and we're going above and beyond. So whatever the minimum health regulation is, we will always be going above and beyond whatever that is to ensure that everybody is kept healthy and safe. Now, thank you very much for having me. I hope I've inspired you to consider Canada and the Canadian Rockies, and of course, including Rocky Mountaineer in your journey. You won't be disappointed. It is a stunning part of the world, and we are ready to welcome you back and really look forward to hopefully having you on board and extending the Rocky Mountaineer hospitality and for you to be part of the Rocky Mountaineer family. Enjoy the rest of your night. Take care.
Quick little bit about Royal Caribbean itself and what we're actually out to achieve as a brand itself when it comes to the wildlife and also our trips themselves. So we're out to basically inspire everyone when we go on every single journey that we go through. And then of course, who we are. We also just got announced for Reader's Digest in Australia. The second year running, we're also Reader's Digest #1 cruise ship also. So it gives you an idea of how confident the brand is for you to go on and how well it actually is. So when you're actually going on Alaska journey with us, this is actually the ship you're going on. It's actually one of our more impressive ships when it comes to destination focused. So she's basically what we consider as our Ruby Prince. This one here is actually going on Enchantment of the Seas. It's a Vision class ship, nice and small, very intimate sort of focus on there for you. It gives us a chance to really dive in and get into the more intimate locations that are in there, which the larger ships have issues getting into. You're only going to be on there with about 2,000 people overall, up to about 2.5 to 2.7 at the most. It's going to have everything you expect to see when you're on board a ship itself, ranging from amazing entertainment, right through to actually the pool decks if you do want to go out there for a little swim as well, and also amazing food and bars for you as well. So we do have amazing places on board for you to actually sit back and relax. Now, if you do want to go for a swim, the best thing is we have got the solarium in there for you to actually sit in there and go for it. Adults only pool area, fully glassed around this, you can actually see the outside as well, and it's a heated pool for you too. From there as well, we do have amazing places for you as well. The kids are going to be off doing their own things, you don't have to worry about them. But then from there, you've also got the casino and the nightlife as well, and also the spa centres as well for you to sit back and relax in and watch the world unwind. So this is actually what the pool deck looks like. So as you can see, nice wide space in there for you. A lot of open space to actually sit back as well, look out for the distance, grab yourself a pair of binoculars and actually see the bears off the coastline as well if you want. Possibly get the chance to watch the whales. You might be able to get the chance to do that. And then from there, we've also got the observation lounge up the top as well for you too. This is the wonderful adults only solarium. Nice and intimate in through there. It's got the whirlpools as well for you. Nice big size pool in there as well. And then the other thing as well in there, which I'll talk about soon, is the Park Cafe, which is another amazing place to go for. Vitality Spa and Fitness Centre is also there for you. So if you want to burn off those wonderful kilos that you get while you're at sea, this is the best place to do it. So if you want to sit back and relax as a massage, we can also look after that. If you want to also go in and get your nice little pedicures, manicures, as well as also get some makeup done, haircuts, that's all on there for you as well for you. Entertainment at night, we do have it all for you. So it's not just the day activities, we get the chance to go on shore, see all the sights. When you come back on board, there is a lot of things to do. So whether you are going into one of our amazing R bars, sit back, relax and have a few martinis, right through to actually watching our productions, which are Broadway style shows, and we'll give you the chance to explore that as well. We have amazing guest entertainers singing up there. We also have comedians that come on, magicians as well. So we have it all in there for you. We also have the nightclub, if you want to stay up long enough and party as well. That's there for you too. It's actually up on the top in the Viking sort of area for you. It's all in there ready to go. And also we've got the casino downstairs as well for you to do, if you want to go down there and enjoy that too. It's just wonderful shots of the locations that are in there for you. When it comes to dining, we do actually have a full wide variety of actual dining on board. For such a small, intimate ship, there's a lot of options in there for you. So as you can see here, these are the 6 wonderful destinations that are actually complimentary while you're on board. So you have the wonderful Windjammer Cafe. This is the buffet. Nice and open in there for you to grab your wonderful meals, whether it is your breakfast right through to your dinner or a late night snack. It's all open in there for you. And as you can see, it's all wonderful glass around there, so you can sit back, have your beautiful meal, and also look out at the wonderful scenery that you're seeing as well. Main dining room, nice big, 2 levels in there for you. You've got a couple of different options when it comes to dining as well with us. You've got the main and early sort of options in there, which I believe you guys are looking after for them, and you get the chance to book onto that. You're given a designated number, and you get the chance to sit back and relax that way for you. If you're in those sort of options, you get the same sort of table in there, so you get to know the people that you're dining with as well. But we're not saying, hey, you always got to dine at the main dining room. We've got a lot of other options for you as well. So the Park Cafe is actually a beautiful place to go grab your pork rolls and also your beef rolls. To give you an idea, every time we used to do an inspection on board, this is actually one of the places we all went for lunch. We didn't worry about anywhere else. We went straight here, went straight away for the beef roll, sat back and ate it. It's actually one of the most beautiful delicacies you can have on board. And I also recommend it for everyone to at least try once, twice. Before then, you're going to be hooked in having it at least once, twice a day. Specialty restaurants. So we do have the complimentary dining. Now we're actually talking about the places that are at a bit of extra cost in there for you, but it gives you that extra bonuses of different sort of unique dining experiences. So this is Chops Grill. Chops Grill is actually our steakhouse that we have on board. This is actually probably my number 1 destination that I travel to when I'm actually on board any of our ships. It's also the one where I take a lot of travel agents to, and also the guests that I'm traveling with as well. In through here, you can have anything from your vegan sort of diets right through to your steaks. What they do is they bring them out in front of you. It's just the steak in front, and then from there they have a whole wide variety of different options for you to put on your plate. The chefs will come past, put your sauces on there. Beautiful around, whether you want to go for an actual T-bone right through to, you name it, sort of cut, it's on there ready for you. We also take care of your cafes as well. So this is actually Starbucks that are looking after this for you. So we actually have Starbucks on board. This is located in the centre of the ship. Also has in there as well ice cream on the side there. They also have your pastries as well. So this for the cafe side of it, so the coffee, is an add cost as well. Azumi's. Now Azumi's is actually an amazing Japanese restaurant that we have on board. This is a la carte, and you can get everything that you'd expect to see in your usual sushi sort of restaurant, right through to amazing sake as well on board. As I said, everything is ad cost for this one, so each plate will have a different sort of pricing point on there. And if you do want to try and pair up with some amazing sake, the staff are actually well versed in what you're ordering and actually team it up there rightly for you as well. So that way you get the full experience. So when you're on board, there's actually some amazing places you're going to be staying in. So we don't skimp out on this side of it for you. So we have everything in here ranging from your inside cabin right through to your ocean view balcony for you. Quite large, quite spacious. It's a king size split bed for you as well. And then we also have the wonderful lounges on the side there as well, so you can sit back and relax. If you want to order room service, you can also have it out in your room as well, or out in the balcony if you've got a balcony room for you. So as you can see, quite large. It's got the TV in there, which we'll actually have in there from your briefings, regular shows that are playing on there as well. Any sort of information that we have to give you on a day-to-day basis. It also reminds you to wash your hands on a regular occurrence as well. It's Royal Caribbean. Any questions? Anyone sailed with us before? Perfect.
Thank you so much. I definitely think that we can't go to Canada and not do an Alaskan cruise. And with Inspiring Vacations on all the packages I'm about to run you through, we do include the interior rooms, the inside cabins. But of course, you are welcome to request an upgrade, and we can certainly accommodate that for you. In fact, as I mentioned before, we do have the flyers in your packs there today. You can go ahead and scan the QR code. We have those upgraded prices in there for you, so you are aware of what that might look like, which is wonderful. Let's have a look at some of the itineraries that we do so that you get a little bit more of a picture. This one came in literally at the 11th hour, and you're going to understand why I had to include it, but I do apologise it's not on your flyer. This is a 13-day Inspiring Canada and Alaskan tour. As you can see, we are doing the ground operations, but this one is via coach. It is not on the train. I will have an option for you if that's a must-do in just a moment. This one starts in Calgary and goes through to Vancouver before starting our 7-night cruise. So with this particular one, as I mentioned, it is by coach, but you're really not going to miss out on any of the sightseeing, including the Athabasca Glacier while you're there. This one also goes into, as I mentioned, Calgary. We stop off at the iconic Jasper. You do really get to see the very, very best of the Canadian Rockies. And into Vancouver, as I mentioned before. Then we do go from Vancouver, we do the loop, we do the inside passage with Royal Caribbean included on this one. So let me just click through and show you exactly what's included. I'm just going to pop over here because I can't quite see all my information. So sightseeing, as mentioned before, and seeing all of the must-see destinations, including Banff National Park, of course, Jasper, Lake Louise, their cruise, 7-night cruise with Royal Caribbean. That one includes gratuities. It also includes meals while on board, as mentioned beforehand, which is wonderful. 5 nights accommodation in centrally located 3-star accommodation. So as we were discussing with you previously about 3-star standards in Japan, you were all here for that information. We have moved across to Canada. It is 3-star standards, very comfortable, very, very well located. Arrival meet and greet at the airport, of course. Breakfast daily. The lunches and dinners primarily on board the cruise, but we obviously always start you off on your very best foot with breakfast daily. What I like about not including all of the meals all the time is that everybody is incredibly different with what and how much they would like to eat. But in the locations where accessing incredible food is relatively easy, we like to be able to leave you to make that decision for yourself. Now to move on to this price point. This is a 13-day itinerary, including those coach arrangements and a 7-night cruise. I saw the gasp up in the corner. It is $2,999 per person. Phil, I'm pretty sure we can fit that in. The airfare is just $699 on offer here at the moment, return. I'm sorry. Let's take a moment to appreciate that. That's incredible. I'm so grateful to our product team for being able to deliver something so amazing. So $699 for your airfares from Australia all the way through to Calgary, and then flying home from Vancouver, of course, back to Melbourne. Full service carriers, taxes included. That's pretty spectacular price point just to start off with. But I do have more, and they are all on your flyers, and I am going to run through those just very quickly for you because they are slightly different. The first one that we have, they're both 16 days, which is wonderful comparison to be able to make. The first one is via coach for the Canadian section. This particular one here, as the name suggests, is actually using the Rocky Mountaineer. So they're the two major differences. Let's go through it. We still take in all of the sightseeing as you would expect, including the gorgeous Lake Louise, which is a must-see, a must-stop, a must-experience, a must-walk around. Absolutely beautiful. We do on this itinerary go to Whistler. So if that is something that you do want to make sure you see, this is a good option. And Whistler's such an incredible little village, and it's so much more than skiing. I've been to Whistler in the summer, and the lake there is just stunning. So I'd highly recommend that. And of course, Vancouver. Vancouver's actually one of my favourite cities, right on the harbour. I love going over to Stanley Park. I love being able to do the gondola ride, a Capilano suspension bridge. It's just an incredible space. Rocky Mountaineer is included, as I mentioned, on one of the itineraries. And we do include, of course, I will go through it in a moment, and the cruise, as I mentioned before. So let's have a look at those inclusions, because that's important. All sightseeing as per itinerary is included. Exploring Vancouver, Calgary, Whistler, we went through all of those. 8 nights accommodation in 3 stars, so that standard still applies. Now, on the 16-day incredible Rocky Mountaineer and Alaska, the Rocky Mountaineer is included, and the 7-night cruise. It's pretty awesome, 16 days. So to do the full 16 days without the train is $4,499 per person. If you would like to include the Rocky Mountaineer, it's $7,999 per person. A tremendous experience, certainly. And for the event, we do have the $699 return airfares. And again, to meet up from Australia to the start of the tour and to bring you home again from Vancouver. That's pretty incredible. This is 2023 departures, so keep that in mind. This is a May through to September departure. We're getting there, but this one I really want to showcase for you, because while it is certainly the same number of days, and most certainly we include the Rocky Mountaineer as we mentioned, this is actually a small group tour. So I know before we were talking about tour size, so if this is something that's really important to you, this is the one to look at. The itinerary starts in Calgary. It still takes in Banff, Jasper, Kamloops. We're doing the train during that section from Jasper, Kamloops, Vancouver, and of course we still include the 7-night cruise. Sightseeing as expected, the Jasper waterfalls, which are absolutely amazing. Rocky Mountaineer is included. We do the 7 nights inside passage, of course that is included. Now let's get down to the difference. The difference here is that you are getting a small group, plus the incredible experience of 2 nights at the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, which is this one here. That is such an iconic stay, and I would recommend that if that is on your bucket list. So we're ticking a lot of boxes with this one, I think. Small group is 20 passengers average. Is it maximum 20 on this one, Brendan, or 24?
24.
24 it is, maximum 24 on this one. I'm so glad you're here. Breakfast daily, 8 lunches, 9 dinners, really well included. The price point to tick all those bucket list moments for Canada and Alaska, and we've really done everything here, is $8,999 per person twin share. Airfare, $699. Look, that's incredible. I have to admit to you, I've been in the industry for quite a lot of time. I've seen a lot of Canadian and Alaskan packages. I love the lead-in that we put forward as the first option. What a great economical way to get you to Canada. But if you want to do all the bucket list moments and you have been comparing different itineraries, you'll be really aware that this last one does it all, and the price point is exceptional. We only have June through to September dates for next year on this one, so I hope that can fit in the calendar. The lucky last one that I'm going to throw in here for you, and I'm sorry to keep confusing you, I really am, but I can't leave without showing you everything, is the 23-day Eastern Canada and the Rockies. So not only are we going to do the Rockies and Alaska, as we've been discussing already, but we're also getting to do the East Coast as well, which is so incredibly different and a journey unto itself. So this one will give you the opportunity to go to Niagara Falls. one of the most incredible falls in the world. I think there's 3 to tick off, isn't there? There's Victoria Falls, there's Niagara Falls, there's Iguazu. I think they're the 3. So we can tick one off here for you now. And to experience the French-inspired, the French-settled Canadian cities, it's completely different. The atmosphere, the architecture, the way of life is so different from east to west. So what a great experience to be able to do. Including the streets of Montreal. So doing the touring around the East Coast, then we fly you actually over from Toronto through to Calgary to start your tour there. So that internal flight is included for you. And then we move into the spectacular Canadian Rockies as we've been discussing, and all those same sightseeing highlights are most certainly included, including the Inside Passage cruise with Royal Caribbean. Let's have a look at that one. Sightseeing included. I spoke about the internal flight Toronto to Calgary. So you're being looked after from the beginning to the very end on this one. 15 nights accommodation, all 3 star throughout. 7 nights of cruising there as well. Breakfast daily and meals on board. This one. So we're doing, remembering, East Coast and West Coast. 7499. We're ticking different boxes, aren't we, on that one? It's pretty incredible. But this is even better. The FS 699 offer is still applicable, even though we're actually going to be flying you from Melbourne all the way to Toronto, other side of the country, and then from Vancouver home again. So that's all still the same price point, which is brilliant, brilliant. May through to September departure dates. Have I confused you? Or have I just given you so much to consider? Thank you all so much for coming this evening. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope we've been able to give you some inspiration for your next travel. Yeah, pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.